So here I am, sitting in a field. I probably should be doing some kind of work, but sometimes it's nice to sit in a field and reading the newspapers about the collapse of Greece, and they're going to have to take out more loans, and is it going to be the domino effect that destroys the euro? I'll talk a little bit about Greece because I worked there I was there 4 times for over 4 years, and I used to always go down to Greece in winter time, usually beginning of January till end of May, because where I come from there was no work in my area, north of England in that time. I'm talking about 30 years ago, and we used to get our dole check and buy a cheap bus ticket down to Athens and arrive in Athens with about 10 quid in our pockets, $15, get off the bus in Athens and look for work straight away. And it was possible to get work in Greece then. Greece had just joined the common market, although they didn't have the euro, they still had drachmas. And you used to get about 100 drachmas an hour, which is about $1 or something. And in that time, a cup of coffee was maybe 10 cents and a packet of cigarettes was 20 cents. And there were people riding around on donkeys. A few farmers had little pickup trucks. The motorways were about 10 kilometres long going outside of Athens, and then they just turned into little normal roads. The railways were little ramshackle affairs. And basically, it wasn't much more than a third world country. In the first years I worked in Greece, we used to do every sort of dirty work that the immigrants do, working in agriculture, on building sites, anything that required hard labour, and if the farmer or the builder didn't want to do it himself, he'd get guys like me to do it. And of course it was all off the books, cash in hand. You'd sit outside a cafe and wait in the morning till you got a job. If you didn't get a job, then you get drunk. That was okay too. But when Greece started to kick in the common market, just for example with orange picking, we used to pick oranges and they used to export them all to Russia, and there was lots of work, and all the oranges got loaded onto ships in the harbours, big Russian ships taking all the oranges up to Russia. And then the common market came along, and I stopped going down to Greece to work because we used to go in the orange fields and pick all the oranges and load them onto trucks and then drive up the mountain and dump the oranges down mountainsides and in rivers. And the farmers got paid from the EU to do that, which is one of them sorts of madness you get in the EU. And at the same time, when the orange harvest was finished, then we got jobs planting orange trees and planting lemon trees, and we did that for quite a lot of acres of orchards we planted. And I remember saying to the Greek guys who used to say, why are you planting so many orange trees if we're just harvesting them and throwing them all away? And the Greek farmers answered, because Thatcher's paying. And they used to laugh their heads off. That was all working there. and it was quite strange really, and even then it was clear that this sort of madness wasn't sustainable. And that was the whole sort of way things used to work in Greece there. Everybody was out trying to avoid taxes as much as possible and make a quick buck and not really work if they could help it, get someone else to do it. It's nice to live in a kind of Arcadia, so a dream world. Even working on the building sites in Greece, we used to get jobs cleaning up the building sites and tying the metal reinforcing in the concrete. And when they built houses, they always left big pieces of metal on top of the building sites. They used to leave metal sticking out of the concrete, big spikes sticking out, and that gave them the opportunity to build another story in the future when the family got bigger. But also it was a tax dodge too, because when the metal's sticking out of the concrete, the building wasn't taxable, and you were able to dodge a tax there. And that used to get on our nerves a little bit, because we'd be all slaving away for 100 drachmas an hour, and these guys would be building great big villas and kind of laughing. I love Greece and I love the Greek people, but the third world country has been turned from a third world country into a first world country in 30 years, with corresponding prices and new motorways built everywhere, new stuff everywhere, and now it's payback time. I don't think Greece will be able to pay back that money ever, because Greece is fundamentally a poor country. A lot of it's barren, desert-type rocky land where nothing grows except cactuses and wild sage. And there's a bit of industry around Athens, and they've got a big mercantile navy. And I don't know how the economy could grow to ever pay back that money, because it was kind of like a dream really, that the country could be so successful. And Greece used to make a lot of money from tourism, but now a cup of coffee in Athens costs more than it does in Germany, and people would rather go to Turkey or Spain because it's cheaper. Greece is expensive now, and there's a double whammy there, because they can build more hotels and ruin the beauty they have got there, this absolutely beautiful place. But if they start building more and more hotels for more tourists, then they're just defeating the object anyway. So they're in a no-win situation. Seems ironic in a way that the euro is named after old Greek mythology, and it seems to come back to Greece. But Greece is not the only one. It's got that unsupportable lifestyle in basically a country poor in resources. But that's the same for lots of countries, especially, well, say Portugal and Ireland's not doing too good either, but I think about places like England, which is much bigger, and everybody seems to be living in this kind of fairy tale world of having more than you should have really for what your land's producing. Right, I have to cut it short now because I have to go and get my boy from the kindergarten, and wishing you all a great day.